Hello and welcome to New Central Television. I am Lekan Onabanbjo, and we begin the news at this hour in West Africa, where the Nigerian military has conducted a mass burial for personnel who died during an ambush and air crash in Niger State in the country's north-central region. The mood at the National Military Cemetery in Abuja was mournful as the rank and file of the Nigerian Armed Forces were joined by family members and friends for the burial of the dead military personnel. On August 14, bandits ambushed the troops in Niger State, killing 14 soldiers, while 7 others were injured. The incident necessitated the deployment of the Nigeria Air Force evacuation aircraft. The aircraft, however, was said to have crashed, killing all passengers, including 2 pilots and 2 crew members on board. To discuss further on this rather sad development, we are being joined by security analyst Alex Okonkwo, and he joins us from Lagos. Alex, thank you so much for obliging our call.
Good evening. This is a very sad moment, but we have compassion for the family.
Pretty much it is.
Families of this man, yes.
True. Now, 22 brave soldiers lost their lives on August 14. They have been laid to rest today. So looking at the manner in which they died, what does it mean and what does it say about the Nigerian military?
Yeah, it doesn't say anything different from what we know. They are very gallant. They fight with the means and the resources available. You and I know that these are not exceptional means, but they are enough to do some of the things we do already. Remember, our armed forces are stretched totally, and they've been like this for like 15 years, more or less. That's quite a lot. Now, what happened in Niger State has different origins, and we can all speculate on what could have happened. But it has nothing to do with the capacity or the efficiency of our men and women. That's what I would say at this point.
Looking at the soldiers, some of them are breadwinners of their family. And of course, we know that friends, dependents will rely on these gallant soldiers now that they have passed on. How can the Nigerian government ensure that these gallant soldiers do not die in vain, most especially in terms of welfareism for the families affected?
Okay, the forces affected here are mostly the Nigerian Army and the Air Force. So from what we gather, both services are already doing quite a lot since that day to make sure the families and those who they left behind are being well treated. The defense is looking into it as well. In the next days, we should hear something from the Minister of Defense, talking of the new minister now. So a lot is being done in that sense. The other side of this is that that area now, the Niger area, is a no-go zone. You can imagine that all the military apparatus that we have are being pushed to that area to make sure that we get the bandits who were responsible initially for the attack. You know, there are 2 incidents here. One is the attack that led to us to send Nigerian soldiers there. Then the ambush that killed some of those soldiers. And then the evacuation is an accident, at least for now. The evacuation itself is evacuating already people who were either injured or dead. So there are 3, I would even say there are 3 instances here. So all these are going to be tackled in the next days. We cannot hurry too much on that.
But then is there any connotation as regards how well equipped our security personnel are in terms of ammunition, aircraft, and every other kind of weapons needed, either to combat situations or maybe for rescue missions?
Okay, yes, very good question. We cannot be totally well equipped as we desire. First, we don't produce these arms. The MI-171 is what we call, it's like a multi-purpose aircraft. It's a multi-purpose helicopter, which various services around the world use for evacuation, for movement of troops, movement of equipment, and sometimes it carries a gunship, which means you can actually use it to defend yourself. It's not something we produce here, we buy them. That particular one should be Russian-made or Chinese-made under license. I'm not too sure now, but it's a Russian concept initially. It's not new, it's very old actually, to be honest. So we don't know if we're talking about the fact that it could be maybe a weather issue, or maybe it could be maybe incompetence in terms of maintenance, or it could be a fault, a human error. These are the things that will come up. Then, of course, there's a 4th one, which we all have at the back of our head, which could be an attack. I mean, like, an land-to-air attack. But I would say at the moment we speak, this is the best time we've had the military as equipped as this time for like almost forever. I would say the last time was probably maybe during the Civil War. The last administration, with all the faults we give it, we cannot give it the fault of having spent money in equipping the Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Army, and the military in general. It is not enough. I don't want to be I don't want people to understand me wrongly. We will never have enough because we don't produce these things. But I'm saying at the level we are, based on where we were coming from, the military is not badly equipped. I will not be here and say that it's badly equipped. It is never enough, but they're doing quite well in that sense.
Finally, Alex, before I let you go, when we talk of ending insecurity in the country and, of course, in the region where we have these hostilities and fightings, how best do you think the government can tackle the issue of terrorism? Does it have to go by the way of dialogue or intelligence report that can help nip such acts in the bud?
It looks like today you're very prepared to get all this information out. No, this is a good question. It's a question Nigerians don't ask themselves. This thing, I've been saying it in all the platforms I've been going for like 3 years. It is not a purely military solution. Let me give you an example. It is like saying that we leave criminality to the police to solve. You see the example I'm giving you. That is, the families have failed, the clerics have failed, the education system has failed, the social society, as in peers, have failed, and we're saying police handle insecurity. It's the same thing we're doing with the armed forces, and it's not going to work. Every other level of the society has failed up till now. That's why we have bandits within us. These bandits, they eat and sleep in Nigeria. It means people in communities are feeding them. You see what I'm saying? We cannot leave it, insecurity itself, just to be tackled by the military. We've changed chief of army staffs. We've had like 6 in the last 15 years, easily. But the problems are still the same. Because we're not tackling the core problems, we're leaving the military to do it at the end. We should also be doing it at the beginning. So dialogue will be part of it. But dialogue with those who have been conscripted into banditry, not those who are at the head of it. You see what I'm saying? We have to explain these things to Nigerians. If not, people get angry. But dialogue is key. You have to talk to people. I tell you now for free, we have close to 70,000 Boko Haram people who have raised the white flag and said they've surrendered. They are all over the place in the north, in camps that we've kept them. What do we do with them? Of course, there is no question of killing them. You cannot kill 70,000 people. That would be a disaster. In fact, it looks like a genocide. So what do? Do we keep them in jails and feed them? That will cost us the whole of the budget of Nigeria. Some of them will have to be reintegrated into the society. There's no other way. You cannot dispose of 70,000 people just like that. So dialogue will definitely be part of it at one stage. But we must do the homework. We must get everybody involved at the community level, at the church and mosque level, at the education level. Every other thing that has failed up till now must have to be revitalized.
Okay. Thank you so much, Alex, for that in-depth analysis. Thank you.
You're welcome.